All right, guys, this right here is quite an admission from Biden. So, he said this. I don't know if he didn't realize this would be a big deal, but it is. All right, so this is an Axios quote. Cannot let him win. Biden calls Trump his 2024 motivation. President Biden said Tuesday that he isn't sure he would be running for re-election in 2024 if former President Trump wasn't also in the race. What? Biden has repeatedly presented the 2024 election in stark terms, warning that democracy is at stake if Trump wins. If Trump wasn't running, I'm not sure I'd be running, Biden said at a campaign fundraiser event on Tuesday. Quote, but we cannot let him win. He's literally saying, well, if Trump wasn't in there, I'm not sure I'd be in there. I would have stepped aside. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. There's so many problems with this, right? Let's just take him at his word here, which I don't know if you do, but there's so many problems with this. First of all, you are down to him now in almost every poll. Even in the average of polls, you're down. In 5 of the 6 swing states, you're down. And by the way, in most of those swing states, it's by large margins. So this idea of like, look, we have to save democracy, that's why I'm in this. But you are the impediment in that scenario. You're down more than any other generic Democrat to Trump. So if it actually is all about, oh my God, we got to stop Trump, well, then do the right thing and bow out at this point. All right, let's continue. Biden, who has faced concern from voters over his age, has cast himself as the best candidate to beat Trump in a rematch. That's just empirically not true. Biden has presented Trump as a lethal threat to the nation, and he's built his campaign around defending Americans' freedoms that he says MAGA extremists are trying to strip away. Quote, I know him well, and I know the danger he presents to our democracy, and we've been down this road before, Biden said in April. But Biden also cited Trump as motivation when he launched his 2020 presidential campaign, saying that the soul of the nation is at stake with Trump at the helm. If we give Donald Trump 8 years in the White House, he will forever and fundamentally alter the character of this nation, who we are, Biden said when he announced his presidential campaign in 2019, and I cannot stand by and watch that happen. So he's saying the only reason I'm running is because Trump is in there and we have to defeat him. But like, somebody needs to get through to him that at this point in time, the polling data shows you are the least likely to beat Trump. We're in a very weird position, man. We really are, because in a hypothetical scenario where Biden's the Democratic nominee, but a non-Trump Republican is the nominee, the non-Trump Republican is almost guaranteed to win. If it's Nikki Haley, even if it's Ron DeSantis, for all of their flaws, for all of their problems, they would almost certainly beat Biden. But vice versa is also true. So if you have Trump as the Republican nominee and any other generic Democrat now as the Democratic nominee, the Democrat's almost guaranteed to win. It's such a bizarre scenario where we get the rematch of the last election, and both of these people have tremendously high unfavorables, incredibly low approval ratings. But even given that scenario, the guy with 91 criminal charges against him is now winning in virtually every poll against Biden. So look, I mean, again, if you take him at his word, which it's a question whether or not you should, but somebody in his inner circle needs to get through to him to say, you are likely to bring about the opposite of what you say you want. It is more likely Trump will get a second term if you run. This is what I don't get, man. This is what I don't get. Now, by the way, for the longest time, I was arguing Biden is a favorite over Trump, because he was. When many other people were saying he's not a favorite, I was saying he is a favorite. Why? Because the evidence was there. It was very clear. He went through a stretch where he did some decent policy things. His numbers went up. The Democrats were doing very well in all the special elections. There were all these things, an amalgamation of factors led me to believe that, plus Trump's legal troubles and how he's still viewed as an extremist and how he's still denying the 2020 election. It looked like Biden's a favorite, maybe 60% chance of winning. Now that has reversed completely. Now you're looking at 60 or 65% likelihood that Trump wins. And Biden is just casually admitting, if it wasn't Trump, I probably wouldn't be running. Jesus Christ. I don't know how he doesn't see his own flaws now, though. Like, how does he not see it? It strikes me as completely delusional. And maybe it is just like selfish on his part that he wants that second term. But like, you see the numbers. You see you went 59% approval among Arab Americans and Muslim Americans all the way down to 17%. This is a key crucial voting block that you're going to need in very specific swing states. And they're abandoning it. There's a whole abandoned Biden campaign that was created by Muslim Americans now. And that's to say nothing of he should be up 30 or 40 points with Latino Americans. Now he's only up 4 points with Latino Americans. He's hemorrhaging young voters. All these things put together, if he really cares about the thing that he says, which is we have to defeat Trump because it's a threat to democracy, well, for the love of God, man, then you have to step aside. You really do. And, of course, I can't get through this segment without pointing out, Jesus Christ, it is so smug and disingenuous to say, oh, we're the saviors of democracy, when we just talked about the news that the Florida Democratic Party canceled the Democratic primary. They said, yeah, I know Marianne's running. I know Dean Phillips is running. I know Cenk Uygur is running. We don't care. We're choosing Biden. We're skipping the whole election thing because that's messy. Democracy is messy. So we're just going to go right to supporting Biden. If Biden really had a principled belief in democracy being good, he would come out and say, no, they have to reverse this decision. This is unfair. I think I'll be able to beat these people straight up. So they should, come on, guys, get it together. Have the election. I'll still win. Have the election. We're supposed to care about democracy, right? It's so disingenuous. Like, it shows that all the stuff, it's just slogans, right? Oh, we have to protect democracy. Like, these are all just slogans. Democracy is at stake, the soul of the nation. I don't know, man. It seems like the soul of the nation is pretty rotten when the current president is funding and arming a genocide in Gaza right now. That seems to me like the soul of the nation is in question a little bit, don't you think? All right, quite an admission. Somebody in his inner circle, please, for the love of God, get through to him. Get through to him. Watching that Newsom-DeSantis debate the other night, even though they're both scummy, sleazy, corrupt politicians, at least watching that felt somewhat normal, where you don't have a guy who's half dead and a guy who's a 91-time criminal. Like, I want to get back to some semblance of reason here. And with Trump versus Biden again, it is not that. It is anything but that. So for the love of God, Joe, if you truly believe, oh my God, we have to defeat Trump, step aside and endorse somebody who can easily do that. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.